Hey guys, Caleb's Cards here, coming at you with the 1,000 subscriber Q&A video that I've been promising. Finally got a chance to really make sure I got all my answers down, and hopefully you enjoy this episode. And had a lot of fun just trying to think back. A lot of them were like autograph related, so just trying to figure out who I'd pick and stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it because I think this might be a kind of a pretty long video. So our first question is from Cyclone Pack Ripper. He asked, "Who was your first in-person auto?" And he said his was Mike Trout when he played for Cedar Rapids Colonels, and he wished he still had it. My first in-person autograph, I was about 9 or 10 years old. This was about, I don't know if it was before Christmas. Actually, yeah, it would have been 2005 before Christmas because there was people selling Christmas stuff. So it was at the Colorado Convention Center in 2005, and we met Steve Foley. He was a former Broncos safety in the later 70s into the mid 80s, and I've actually gotten back from him TTM once before. So he was a pretty nice guy. Of course, I was 9 years old, so I didn't really know what to say or do. But he mostly chatted with my mom and aunt, and but I do remember talking to him a little bit. So, and he seemed like a very nice guy, and still is if you send to him through the mail. So, thank you, Mr. Foley. Then we actually had 3 people ask similar questions. Eric Stadel, Pepino Man, and Big Country's Wheelhouse. They asked basically, what TTM were you most excited to receive in the mail, or what was your biggest single return in your opinion? Definitely would have to be currently is the Jim Brown autograph that I got back. What was it? Just before the beginning of 2019, or at the beginning of 2019. I did not expect that to come back at all. I was really excited they signed both of them. They gave one to Garrett as well. But I just I saw one person get them back from the Browns, and I was like, let's give it a shot and see what happens. And it came back. So that's definitely probably my number one autograph in like TTM autograph pretty much ever. So unless I top that with something else, so that was pretty cool. And then the Luke Combs was also pretty close, close second, I'd say. That was a pretty cool one because I love listening to a lot of his music, and also did not expect that to work. I just thought, he was recently inducted officially into the what's it called, the Grand Ole Opry, and I was like, let's send there see if it works, and it came back signed. So Jim Brown is first place, but the Luke Combs is right behind it, really close. 25 Press asks, who have you sent out a lot of stuff to and never received anything back from? And then he also asked if what I show is 4x6 photos or 5x8. So they're all mostly 4x6. Every now and then there's 5x7. But primarily I send 4x6s and very rarely 8x10s because they cost so much. But I have in some cases sent 8x10s, but mostly 4x6s. But as far as your first question there, the first person that comes to mind for me is Diane Kruger. I know her best for the National Treasure movies, which are, I'm hoping they'll make a third one, at least with somebody. It doesn't have to be Nicolas Cage, but it'd be really cool to them to continue the story. But she was an actress in that, and she's also famous for being in Troy and other things. But I know her best for National Treasure. And I've always wanted to get an autograph since I've started this hobby. So I've tried sending either 2 or 3 times, or I've sent twice, and then also I've even tried like messaging her fan page on Facebook or something just to see if it'd be okay for me to send a photo somewhere. I've had no response at all. I've tried via venue in Canada. I've tried in the U.S. She's got an address in France. I don't know if that would even work. I have not been able to get anything, so I'll probably just have to buy one. Retro Mickey 82 asked, if you can meet a favorite YouTuber, who would they be? I'm going to go with a non sports card related YouTuber. I would of course love to meet all of you if I get the opportunity. So I don't want to offend anybody by picking a sports card YouTuber. So I'm going to go with somebody who doesn't even do that. Somebody I've been watching before I even started doing sports card videos or TTM videos. And that's I don't know if any of you guys watch him, is Matthias, or some people from maybe the High Five crew have followed their content, their family-friendly content for since 2013 or so, 2012, and that was me. I think I just made an account around that time, maybe. So I've been following um, him for a long time, so um, I would love to meet him. I think it'd be pretty cool. So Just the Bears asked, "Who's your favorite band?" I don't really listen to, I guess, that many bands per se. I listen to some groups, but wouldn't consider them a band. Um, but as far as I know, I guess I'd say Rascal Flatts. They are technically considered a band. I saw them in person when about 2005 as well, when they were kind of around the time when they were getting pretty big. The movie Cars had just come out, and they did their rendition of Life is a Highway, and that was a pretty big hit. And they did some other songs during that year, so that was a pretty big year for them. And they were opening, I think, for Kenny Rogers, or Kenny Rogers was opening for them, one of the two. I just remember seeing that, so I followed their music for many years now, and sadly they're kind of breaking up, but obviously their music's still going to be there so you listen to. So I'd say they're my favorite band because I mainly listen to country, but I do, dabble in other things, but it's mostly countries what I grown up with. So Rascal Flatts. Michael Myers asked, "Has there ever been an athlete or celebrity to whom you have had every intention of sending a TTM request, but for whatever reason you did not, and they passed away? If so, who?" So I couldn't really think of anybody who I planned to send to while I was doing this hobby. So I kind of thought of a couple people that, or at least one for sure, but a couple people that I would have wanted to have sent to if I would have gotten into it sooner. One that comes to mind, I think, Stan Musial. When did he pass away? Because I started technically 2014. Yeah, so he passed away in 2013. So I missed the window to send to him. Even though I would have had to send a donation, that still would have been really cool to get Stan Musial. So I kind of wished I would have gotten into TTM sooner than I did. And then another person I'd say is Robin Williams. Of course, he committed suicide about 2014, I think it was. So he did. There's speculation on their secretarial auto pen and stuff, but sometimes you could get him, and that would have been a cool one because he was a very funny guy. So always did some great movies and stuff, and made the movies even better. So I definitely say Robin Williams or Stan Musial would be one that I would have wanted to send to. I just can't think of anybody who I intended to send to while I've been doing this right off the top of my head. But if something comes to me, I'll definitely shoot you a reply, Michael. Next up, Brentwood Sports and Collectibles and Baseball Card Chronicles 99 basically asked what is my longest awaited TTM return, and that is coming back from Gene Stevens, former Boston Red Sox infielder. That took 1,583 days, and it came after he passed away on April 27th last year. And I sent that to him in like 2015, I think, 2014, something like that. I sent to him, and they came back signed. So his family or something must have been going through his stuff and found that he'd signed some things and didn't send it out yet. So it was bittersweet, really, to get a return from somebody who just passed away, but kind of cool that the family still honored what their father previously would sign for fans, and still wanted to make sure that continued to happen. Next up, Henry S. asked, "Would you ever consider getting autographs of astronauts or NASA personnel for every successful shuttle mission like I did?" I would. I have tried some recently, but I haven't had very much success lately. I sent out last year. I sent out to several people that some flight scientists, just all kinds of people that worked in different aspects of like the Apollo missions, and I've only gotten a handful back, so unfortunately I don't have that much success, but I have sent out quite a few. Um, I know Henry's the master of getting those NASA autographs, especially some of the obscure ones that maybe you wouldn't think about sending to, but I would definitely do it if I had a better success rate. But for the time being, I just don't think that's in the cards right now. Then little Mr. Hardcore asks, "What is your favorite autograph you own?" And I'm gonna go different. Uh, I'd probably have to say the two Ken Griffey Jr. autographed magazines that Griffey Man gave me about 2 or 3 Christmases ago. That was a humongous surprise that he sent those. Um, I don't know, Jason, if you're still watching. I do apologize I didn't get you a Christmas card this year. I had it ready to go and I lost it, and now I got to find it again. So I don't know if you want a late Christmas card in April, but I can definitely do that if you happen to be watching. But um, that was, yeah, he got out of collecting TTM, and he was just primarily focusing on just a few things. And he pretty much sent me almost his entire autograph collection, and those are some amazing videos if you guys want to go back and watch um, those old videos. That was probably about 3 years ago or so, two, yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Those are some pretty cool videos. They would be like I think I did Griffey Man surprise care package, whatever they were titled. So if you want to go watch some really cool stuff, that'd be that one. But that was definitely get those Ken Griffey Jr. autographs because I never thought I'd own one of his. It was really cool. Four Leaf Cards asked, how many TTM requests do you send out on average per week? So I typically send usually every other week on payday. Usually about like a roll of stamps, so that gives you 100 stamps, and if you just send all the US, you can get about 50. If I send international, though, that's going to cost a little bit more. So I guess on average about 50 to 60 every other week. Every now and then, if I come into a little bit of money, then I'll up it to something ridiculous like 100 or something. But typically just about 50 to 60 every 2 weeks. And I haven't sent out any in about 2 months, so might start that up here in a little bit. Brandon Stebbins asks, how long have you been a Christian, and do you have a significant other? So I answer the second one here first because that'll be a short answer. No, I do not, actually. Just haven't met that one girl yet, I guess. So, of course, I don't feel I'm ready yet anyways, financially, spiritually, or mentally anyways. So, haven't really been looking, but hopefully God will have somebody in the future for me. As far as how long I've been a Christian, it's kind of I'll give you, trying to shorten this long answer as much as possible. So I remember, I don't know if you guys ever heard of a Christian program, Awana. Usually churches hold it on like Wednesday nights. I used to go to Awana because you could go up to, what was it, 6th grade? So I started in Cubbies. I was about 4 years old. 3 or 4 years old is when they start there. Now they have a little bit younger class, I think. But I did Cubbies there, and I remember, well, I have written in the book that they give you that you would memorize scripture. It was Mark 16:15, and written there was one of the teachers that I had asked about accepting Christ as my Savior. And this would have been March or April of 2001-ish. I think 2001. And I asked the Lord to be my Savior that day, or that night. I don't remember that, but I do remember a little bit after that. I know it was near my 5th birthday because I was playing in my room. I had this toy dinosaur that I always played with, and all kinds of other toys. And I just remembered thinking, with all the lessons I'd learned, that I didn't want to go to hell. And I just remember right there praying because I'd already learned you know, what to do, and that's what I remember. Um, that I believe that was when I accepted Christ as my Savior. Was when I was almost 5. Um, there were times that I know I've heard really good messages on this, that how, after you fall short and you sin, sometimes the devil creeps in there, or your flesh. It makes you feel like, oh, you're not saved because you thought that bad thought, or you lied, or you did that. A Christian would never do that. And you get that thought in your mind, and I just remember getting those when I was younger, about 9 or 10, and again praying. But I feel that I was saved at 4, so I think I was just the devil was just trying to get at me there. So I would say I've been saved since I was 4, almost 5, so I'm almost 24 now. It's about 20 years, 19 years now. So, and that's what I remember. You're probably like, how can you remember something from when you were 4? I just vividly remember that day. I don't know exactly what day, or I just know it was during the day. It was a nice spring day. I could hear the birds chirping. I was playing with my toys, and that's the day that I associate when I became a Christian. So sorry for the long answer, but wanted to make sure I give you best of explanation as I could on my memory details there. Next up is Autograph CS asks, what celebrity were you surprised by any extras that they sent? I've had quite a few, but the first ones that came to mind for me, Anthony Crivello was probably the most recent, or one of the most recent. He sent several signed items for me and Bruce. Just multiple items from when he was on Broadway, and he signed all my pictures, included a whole bunch of extras, so that was really cool. The one that I didn't show on video because he asked me to keep it secret, but it's been a while. Obviously his address is out there, but I figured it'd be okay just to at least mention him. Chuck Aber, he was Neighbor Aber on the Mr. Rogers Show. He signed the photos for Kim. He also made copies of those photos and signed them for me, and included a preprint for each of us of Mr. Rogers, and then a little pamphlet from the show, or something like a little giveaway pamphlet from the show, which is really cool. And then wrote a really nice note, and it has probably one of the neatest handwriting I've seen. Him and Nathaniel Go could both do a handwriting contest, and they'd probably be super close. So, and determine who would be the winner. So that was a pretty cool response recently. That was even before the Anthony Crivello. And then one that she didn't technically send extras, but she went above and beyond what I expected, and I sent to Luis Mandrell, and she actually had both her sisters sign it during the Thanksgiving holiday while they were there, and she mailed it back to me, so I got this pretty cool 5x7 with all the Mandrell sisters when I just sent to one. And then shortly after, I got Barbara, who I'd sent to a request to previously. And then finally, one that comes, which is pretty cool, Barbara Bossen, who was on Hill Street Blues. She signed my photo, and then actually had mentioned that she had just met with the 2 other ladies that were on the photo. She wished that would have gotten there a little bit sooner, and she would have had them sign it too. But so she just wrote a really nice response and asked where I found the photo, because she never seen it before. So I made her copies of it, sent them to her, and she was completely surprised that somebody did that. She said nobody ever sent her anything to keep. There's just always that they wanted something from her, and she was quite surprised and honored by that, and sent me a whole bunch of 8x10 signed by her, all inscribed to me, which was also really cool. So I had a little bit of a short pen pal moment with Miss Barbara Bossen. So those are 4 that come to mind right off the top of my head. Scott Spalding asked, who is your dream autograph to get? one that's probably not obtainable for me at the moment unless I come into a bunch of money is Babe Ruth, of course. You have to have a Babe Ruth autograph. But one that might possibly be doable in the future, if I want to spend the money, is John Wayne. I think that would be really cool. Love a lot of his movies. Grew up honestly watching it at my grandparents' house. I'd find like the old VHSs and just put them in, and usually John Wayne is in it. And of course, my dad likes him too, so I guess that must have had something to do with me also liking his movies. So can't go wrong with some John Wayne. Then Kim William asks, what celebrities have you got on your list to get for this year? I have quite a few. Whether these get done TTM or I have to purchase them, I would like to get them done this year if I can. I'd like to finish the Psych Project, so the TV show. It's pretty much my favorite TV show currently. We just rewatched the series probably for the 5th or 6th time again, just recently. I'm trying to get the main cast and then dabble with smaller characters, but kind of to finish the project, get the main cast. And I just picked up Corbin Burnson, so you guys will see that. But I need to get Sage Brocklebank, who plays Buzz. Basically, is the main one that I need. Also, I'd like to complete the Monk TV show project. I've gotten Tony Shalhoub, I've gotten his wife, and I've gotten 1 or 2 other people that have been in it. Or actually, I got more than that. I've got about 5 or 6. But I'd like to get the main people: Traylor Howard, Betty Schramm, Ted Levine, Jason Ray Stanford, Emmy Clark. Stanley Camo might be kind of hard because he did pass away early on in the show. Well, towards the middle of the show. And then Timothy Bagley. I think I sent a TTM request to him. Hasn't come back yet. I'd also like to complete the Merlin TV show project. I just need to get a couple main people. I think Sir Lancelot and a couple others. And then I'd also like to finish the Forever TV show project. I need a few more people from that. And finish the Burn Notice project. I think I just need one or two for that one as well. So those are kind of the ones that are on the top of the list, I guess. And then I usually just check Star Tiger to see who's signing and get them if I can. But I got tons of people, of course, Kim, from the Band of Brothers project, the Pacific project, like Saved, that I keep an eye out to see if they ever do anything, and gotten a few back. So I just keep an eye that slowly gets chipped away at. Then Dustin Blank asks, do you ever get burnt out on doing TTM requests? And if so, do you just take a break? Or do you have a trick to rejuvenate the hobby for yourself? So the answer to that is, of course, yes, I do. I did quite recently, actually, before I went on this break. I was getting burnt out. And I do think it does help to take a break. Just because if you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, it does get kind of tiresome and bored, or makes you bored. So it's still fun, but you're just like, I need a change just for a little bit. So what I like to do is start on a project. So like I decided to do the start of the Junk Wax Challenge again. The Battle of the Decades contest helped to give me something to put my mind on, to focus on, to also send stuff and make it more exciting again, working on a project. Also, I sent out some requests for autographs for a Cure again. When I was sending stuff out for Garrett while he was away in deployment, that was also a huge help. Sending stuff for Kim and Bruce, just giving me something to like, oh, I've already sent to this person such and such years ago. There's no point sending to him again unless I have a reason to send for a friend or for a project. So that kind of helps me by doing that. So I already feel I miss it already. So I already had some kind of ready to go when I get some stamps. So look for some future returns, hopefully coming back in a month or so. And then a new project that I'm hoping to work on, depending on how expensive it ends up being. But we're going to give it a shot. So look forward to doing that. And then Pamela's Nook, that's actually my mom. She asked, how many videos in total have you created over your YouTube career? And how many times has your mom interrupted you doing them? This was the funny question showing that. So I couldn't. They changed the um, video manager creator studio ever format. I can't find the total number of my videos, but I know it's over 1,000. It's more than subscribers I have. It's got to be about 1,200 plus videos. I've made a lot. Of course, I've already got nearly 800 episodes just TTMs alone. So all the other contest responses and other mini series I've done. So it's about 1,200. And then as far as how many she's interrupted or my family is interrupted, there's many. I can't even think. She actually suggested a long time ago. I think it was for the 500 subscriber contest or something like that. She said you should ask your subscribers to count how many times you can hear somebody shouting in the background. And I was like, that would be a lot of work for me to go through and find that exact number. But so that was pretty funny. But yeah, there's been many I've had to reshoot. So, but for the most part, I just do like one take and like, oh well, it's in there, and I don't really care anymore. It was more in my early days that I was like, you could hear somebody shouting, but now I'm just like, I just keep talking over and keep going. So it's all right. Next up, Reindeer Studios asks, what is your oldest autograph you own? And what I could find was most of my World War One autographs. The oldest one I could find that was actually dated was the World War One veteran Frank J. Jervey from 1932. And there was another one from 1932, but I couldn't find like what date it was. So Frank Jervey, I think, wasn't signed in August or whatever. So we'll go with that one. That one's signed from 1932. Wesker Griff asked, have you ever gotten the chance to meet anyone from the YouTube community at a card show or any event? I haven't specifically been able to meet any YouTubers yet. On purpose, I guess. I have met a friend who's a subscriber as well. Brandon, when we went to South Carolina, we drove through Missouri, so we met him. And then I accidentally, when I was selling my collection last year, met Thrill Pack Cards. He's a newer YouTuber, or through the Facebook Marketplace is how I met him. And found out we were talking, and he was kind of like, I like to watch such and such. And I was like, oh, you're on YouTube? He's like, yeah, I do YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, really? So do I. And he's like, oh, you kind of look familiar. So, like, I've seen you before. So, yeah, so technically I met a YouTuber, but haven't been to a card show since I was 12 years old. And I was looking for this guy. And this will be for a future contest response for Eddie's contest, by the way. That's why I got that out. To remind me to do that video. Victor Negron Cards asks, have you ever watched any of the Colorado pro sports teams in person? If so, what's your favorite stadium or arena to go to? So far, I've only watched the Rockies. I did go to a monster truck rally at the Pepsi Center a long time ago, but I've actually only been to Coors Field. I haven't had a chance to go to a Broncos game or a Nuggets game or an Avalanche game or the Mammoth or Rapids or anything yet. Hopefully, one of these days we'll get to go to something besides Coors Field, but at the moment it's just baseball. Royce Bredeman asked, what made you want to start making YouTube videos? And were you nervous or self-conscious when you started making them? And the answer to that is, of course, yes, I was. I wanted to make videos to share my TTM and sports car collection with you guys. It was kind of boring because I was the only one in my family really doing that, so you can only show it to so many people. And figured along the way as I was doing this that I could help others and maybe make some new friends through it. And as far as being self-conscious, I definitely was. That's why you'll see my earlier videos, they're all slideshows. I was in part, wasn't confident in speaking or showing myself, and then I also didn't really think I had that great of a camera at the time. I still don't really, but it's a lot better than in the old days. But then finally, I worked up the courage to do videos like this where I'm just actually showing myself and then actually being in them. So Just over time, you got more comfortable with what I was doing, and so I say just practice makes perfect, but um, this has helped me with speech. It's helped me just be a little bit more confident in myself, and YouTube's definitely a good thing for me. So um, thank you for that question, Royce. Chris Crafts 101 asks, what is your limit of times to sending to the same person? And if you send to the same person, how long do you wait before resending? So usually I try to only send to somebody 3 times. Um, but I have made exceptions if I'm working on a project or sending for somebody else, or it's for like the contest, like the Jungle X Challenge or something. Um, but primarily I try to send to them only 3 times, and if I'm going to send to them more, then I'm either going to be giving them money because they charge, which I think is alright if they charge or require donation. That's fine to send to them so many more times. Or, I'm just working on the project. So, but primarily I try to do 3. Joe Rodriguez asks, who's my favorite MLB and NFL player? Of course, my favorite MLB player has always been Robin Yount. Ever since a young age, I just found one of his cards and just took a liking to it, and then took a liking to him as a player for some reason. Even though I never saw him play in my life, nor was I even born while he was playing, I just for some reason really liked him. And for the NFL, I'd say Tim Tebow or Kurt Warner are pretty close favorite NFL players. Fredo Gibson asks, which autograph in your collection would you say looks the best? And honestly, there's a lot of autographs that look really cool. I was just trying to go through some old pictures and just kind of think what popped out to me. The Vance Law and the Vern Law have really nice signatures. I have a piece, I think that's like a photo that's signed by both of them that looks really cool. The Reggie Jackson autograph that Jimmy Gunn sent me recently also is a very nice looking signature. The Ken Griffey Jr. autographs that I mentioned before. The Rick Monday, where he's snatching the flag from the protesters. That's a really cool one. It's a really nice signature. The Eric Dickerson, he has a pretty cool autograph. And then I think the Bob Gimlin, which was the Bigfoot autograph, was really cool as well. Those are some that pop in my head right away. So there are many more, of course, but those are the ones I'd like to say. So Purple GT22 asks, what is your favorite Bible verse? That's Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ. And then also, what celebrity would you like to meet and why? I guess there's plenty of people I'd love to meet, but I guess I have to go with my favorite male actor, Ian Grufford, or Ben Kingsley. Those guys would probably be cool to at least shake their hand and say you like their movies or something, so that'd be pretty cool. Chasing Inc. asks, what movie have you seen the most? It's definitely the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. Probably have seen those at least 10 times each. Probably every year we pretty much watch them all the way through, or at least every other year. So we've seen those ever since I was 9 years old up until now, many times. So and of course they're great movies. So I still have yet to read all the books though, which is I definitely need to. I'm really lazy at reading nowadays since I've been out of school. Scotty Tradition asks, if you had to start your auto collection over but could keep 3 autos to get you started, which would they be? Hopefully I wouldn't have to start my collection all over again, but I definitely want, even though they're probably not worth anything to you, they're pretty special to me. My first autographs, first TTMs I sent out were Bud Harrelson, Sean Dunston, Phil Bradley, and Bob Walk. The only one that didn't come back was Bob Walk. I accidentally sold the Phil Bradley, but I got him back later on. So we'll go with the ones I still have: Bud Harrelson, Sean Dunston, and then I'd love to have the Josh Hamilton that I got when he was signing every year before Christmas. Even though he's had a lot of problems, unfortunately, with domestic violence and drinking and drug abuse. It's really sad that he relapsed to that, but I wish him the best and hope he gets rehabilitated and turns back to God. But I know that was a really special autograph for me to get back when I started, so I'd go with those three. Nathaniel Go asks, who are your top 3 celebrity crushes? So I've had a lot growing up, for sure. I guess the most recent ones I'd say, you already know, one of them's Kelsey Ballerini. I guess then I'd say actress Danielle Panabaker. And then most recent one that I've come across is Caroline Jones. I came across her randomly on YouTube and just been following her music, and she has a really good voice and seems like a very, very nice person. So, and then all 3 of those ladies seem like very nice people. So I guess that's kind of one of the reasons that draws you to them, to be like a crush. So I guess I'd go with those 3. And then he also asked, if the Rockies weren't your favorite baseball team, which team would you not mind rooting for instead? So my favorite AL team already is the Tigers. My favorite NL team, second NL team, is the Brewers. So I wouldn't mind rooting for either one of those guys already if the Rockies weren't around. Jacob Brown asked, when did you start collecting baseball cards? And I know the exact answer to this. This was in August of 2004, so I was 8 years old. Just turned 8 years old. We just moved out here. The first pack I bought was a 2004 Fleer Inscribed. They were kind of a higher end product at the time, and it cost $2.99. It was one of the more expensive packs there at Walmart. And I remember pulling Roger Clemens, Mike Piazza, Torrey Hunter, Tom Glavine, and there's another guy I can't remember. I have to look through the set to see if the image pops in my mind. But I mean, it was a pretty good first pack, I guess, to ever get, even though I didn't even know who they were. But had some decent players in there. And we're almost done. We got 4 more questions. Chris Heist asks, what's your top 3 autographs you received, and your number 3 of you wish you didn't? My top 3 are Jim Brown, of course we've already mentioned, Luke Combs, and I guess we'll say the Roger Staubach. It might be auto pen, so if it is 100% confirmed auto pen, I guess I'd say the Kevin Bacon, or maybe my Ian McKellen would be my number 3. As far as 3 I wish I didn't get, I don't think I have any, because I mean, if I sent to them, I had totally intended to get their autographs, so I don't think I have any that I don't like, so so I don't really have an answer for that one, so I hope that's alright, Chris, but definitely the top 3 I think are pretty cool. So. And then Psyched on Baseball Cards asked, who's your favorite A's player? For some reason, the first guy that came to mind for me was Sal Bando, and I don't know why I liked him, but maybe it's because I played third base for a couple years, and he was a third baseman. He was pretty good, but I'd always, liked getting his cards, I guess, when I was younger. So, or Raleigh Fingers is another one. Loved his mustache. So either Sal Bando or Raleigh Fingers, I'd say. Brandon Burks asked, what is your coolest looking autograph that you've gotten back? And by the way, Brandon, if you happen to see this video, you did win. So if you could message me or email me so I can get your autograph sent to you. So again, what he asked, what is your coolest looking autograph that you've gotten back? And I was thinking, like, I kind of think they're all cool, honestly. But if I had to single out one that was really cool, we'll reference the Ian McKellen 8x10 I got a long time ago when he was signing. That was a really cool one to get back, being, of course, a Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fan. He even put the symbol that he put on Bilbo's door, because it was from a shot from the Shire in the Hobbit movie, and inscribed it to me and everything. It was really cool. So still have that photo, of course, and it used to be one of my, on the Facebook page, used to be one of the cover photos for a while as well. And final question is by DeLongshot Signatures. He asked, you've definitely sent out to all kinds of people, but are there one genre you haven't collected that you would like to send to more? And even if you send a few to the genre, is fine, but are there any you want to send out more to? My answer honestly would be I wish I would have sent out more to the political / historical requests either sooner or more often than I did. Um, I think that would have been really cool to maybe even do a JFK project like Michael Rhodes does from the Autograph Network. It's kind of a little too late now because a lot of them have passed on. And I didn't really, when I was younger, didn't really quite understand the full significance of it, or nor the small connection it has to my family because my grandpa was there and worked at the Dallas Morning News and stuff, so that was a big ordeal for them. Also, on the political autograph side, I know some can be like auto pen and stuff like that, but I've sent to a few, but not that many. Mainly they had to do with the World War II project or Korean War or whatever project I was working on at the time. But I'd love to, have a collection like Chris Grass 101 or the President Michael. Those guys are definitely the kings of getting that kind of return, the political request. So I guess I'd have to say, the historical / political, or even if I would have been able to start sooner on the World War II project in 2015, that would have been cool as well. So that should pretty much wrap up the video. This has been a long, long, long video, guys, so I do appreciate you staying here and watching if you watched all the thing and learning some new stuff about me, and hopefully you enjoyed it. So thank you again so much for your questions, and for 1,000 subscribers, I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to go let the dog out because he wants something. He's whining, and I'll see you all later.